Hi you guys. So I wanted to talk a minute about getting seeds from tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and the beginnings of making sauce with tomatoes. So I just picked all these tomatoes yesterday, and now I'm going through and I'm removing the tops of them so I can put them in this bowl, and then that bowl will go into the freezer. Now if you pick a tomato off the vine and this top stays with it, often you'll get a little hole or a crack in there, and that tomato needs to be used right away, or like this one, or it will split on you and it can start to mold in here pretty quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm going through this bowl, and if any of that happened to one yesterday, they're going to be soft and really not a tomato that I want to keep for sauce. So what I'm doing then is taking that tomato and I'm squeezing the inside into a jar of water, and much like with our cucumber, we're going to ferment this so the seeds, let's sacrifice this tomato, so the seeds in here will fall away from the glop, you know, that jelly stuff, and then we'll have actual seeds that we can touch and use. So just squeezing it into the jar, or you can use your thumb and push it into the jar. And then these tomatoes, I'm going to keep them frozen until I'm ready to make pasta sauce, marinara, and I use frozen tomatoes for that. I definitely use cherry tomatoes because it adds sweetness that you can't get unless you add sugar, and why waste sugar if I've got a bunch of extra tomatoes. So I'm just pulling off the top so they're easier to process in the wintertime. Plus then, you know, you can make it in your house, and if it gets all hot, it's not a problem, it's welcomed. So we'll check back in a few days on this, and you can see there's already quite a few seeds in there. And then this is what we'll save to plant next year to get these cherry tomatoes back. So we got a little twofer going here. Plus, remember to keep your stuff and compost it. It's a circle of life. Right, you guys, so today we're going to finish up those cherry tomatoes that we had fermenting. If you remember, we put them in here to ferment so the glop would separate from the seeds, and it's pretty well done its job. I've had it out here for actually a little longer than I should have, but that's okay. So I'm just going to open up that jar and put it through a pretty narrow sieve. And you can see here really how the seeds have all just separated from stuff like this. I mean, there's a little bit of this left, but for the most part, it is gone with the wind. So get rid of that piece, and then I'm just going to kind of force some of this through the screen and clean it while I go. Okay, right. So for the most part, that's pretty clean. I'm just going to give it a little minute to drip on out of there. Maybe I'll even take another paper towel and wipe up the bottom here. And then I have this area, over here, some paper toweling. I've got it marked cherry tomato, August of 20, and I'm going to go ahead, kind of at a bad angle, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Sorry. And give it my flip. Be confident when you do that. Flip it over and down. Now we're just going to spread those seeds out. And then we're going to let them dry somewhere sunny. Well, not too sunny. How about somewhere warm? So I'm going to just take this and put it on a little rack. Like this, little baking rack. And then I'll find some place over here in my corner of fermentation, etc. So, okay, there we go. So that's how you get cherry tomato seeds, or any tomato seeds.